Pakistan's role as an epicenter of terrorism has been well documented by numerous international organizations, including the United Nations. Time and again, Islamabad has been warned by these organizations on terror charges, and on many occasions, Islamabad has been exposed globally on terror financing. Ahead of FATF plenary meeting in Paris, several exiled dissidents staged a massive protest outside the headquarters of Financial Action Task Force to persuade the anti-terror financing organization to place Pakistan on the blacklist. A report. Echoes of terrorist, Pakistan resounded outside the headquarters of the Financial Action Task Force in France. Exiled Baloch, Pashtuns, Uyghur and Hong Kong communities living in Paris staged a massive protest and urged the watchdog to blacklist Islamabad. Over the past 13 years, Pakistan has been placed on the grey list thrice. According to a recent report of the International Forum for Rights and Security, Pakistan is eye-washing Financial Action Task Force by making fulfilling compliance at a time when Pakistan continues to remain an epicenter of terrorism and other criminal activities. Pakistan has been on the FATF grey list since June 2018, and it continues to be on the list after the FATF found many strategic anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism deficiency in the country's system. Experts believe that Pakistan is likely to slip into the blacklist of the terrorist and anti-money laundering watchdog for non-compliance.
FATF का इजलास होने वाला है और उसमें अगेन यही होगा ड्रामा कि पाकिस्तान को हम एक और मौका देते हैं और ये और वो. मेरी भविष्यवाणी है, पेशिंगोई है कि पाकिस्तान ग्रे लिस्ट में ही रहेगा, ना पाकिस्तान ब्लैक लिस्ट में जाएगा, ना पाकिस्तान लिस्ट से निकलेगा. ये एक पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा है, वरना किसको नहीं पता कि पाकिस्तान टेररिज्म में किस हद तक इन्वॉल्व है. पाकिस्तान घुटने घुटने तक टेररिज्म में फुल्ली इन्वॉल्व है और उसके आप यूँ समझ लें कि पाकिस्तान में जितने टेररिस्ट ग्रुप हैं, फ्रेंचाइजीज़ हैं ISI की, हाफिज़ सईद ले लें, जैश मोहम्मद के मसूद अज़हर हैं, दूसरे हैं सारे, वो अफ़गानिस्तान और पाकिस्तान में भरपूर टेररिज्म करते हैं. किसको नहीं पता, लेकिन नहीं पता अगर तो FATF को नहीं पता.
For years, Pakistan has been deceiving the Financial Action Task Force by pretending to take action against internationally designated terrorist groups and their financial networks, but only on paper. Pakistan has adopted a three-pronged approach to get out of the FATF watch list. The first prong is to make a show of acting against the UN-proscribed individuals and organizations to fulfill its high-level political commitment. The first prong is to make a show of acting against the UN-proscribed individuals and organizations to fulfill its high-level political commitment. The second prong is Pakistan playing the victim card by trying to blame its predicament on India. The third prong of the Pakistani strategy has been to launch a propaganda offensive that is aimed to pressure, even shame, the FATF to cut some slack for Pakistan. Before the FATF meeting in February 2020, the Pakistanis realized that their old book wasn't working and needed to be tweaked. They had to do something more to deceive the world. In July 2019, the top leadership of Jamaat-ud-Dawa and its wing Falai Insaniyat Foundation, including the chief Hafiz Saeed, his deputy Abdul Rahman Makki, Zafar Iqbal, Amir Hazma, were booked on terror finance charges in around 24 cases. But in practice, these terror groups continue to function openly and are collecting funds publicly. Moreover, various agencies in Pakistan are involved in terror training, terror financing, not only in Pakistan but in the region and around the world. Therefore, many experts do believe that the norms by which the Financial Action Task Force functions also need modifications. In their opinion, Pakistan should be blacklisted.
So we're gathered here outside the FATF office today with Baloch protesters, with Pashtuns, with people from Hong Kong, from the Chinese community, from the French community, and the idea is to remind the FATF that it needs to deliver on its commitments, especially when it comes to blacklisting Pakistan, because in Pakistan terror financing continues. We know that the terror networks in Balochistan continue to operate. The money laundering operations continue. We know that Pakistan is using its different routes by sending money to Africa, and through that it's using these routes to fund terror activities back in South Asia, back in Afghanistan and Kashmir.
With Pakistan's continuation in the grey list, it is increasingly becoming difficult for Islamabad to get financial aid from the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Asian Development Bank and the European Union, thus further enhancing problems for the debt-ridden nation, which is in a precarious financial situation. And now Pakistan desperately wants to move out from the FATF grey list, as it would relax the financial globe trade and investment channels for the country. Islamabad is putting up various actions to showcase the proactive attitude of the Imran Khan-led government in rescuing Pakistan from falling into the blacklist. Pakistan needs to introspect and take decisive actions. The sooner, the better.